Hello everyone, welcome to PUC Online Classroom. Today I am going to finish Unit 9, okay? And before I start the new activity, I'd like to talk a little bit about the yesterday lesson, which is about the listening right here. So I asked you to check this sentence. I have two left feet. You probably get the answer, but if you don't get it, that's fine, okay? Based on the context right here, I have two left feet. It's just like you are not a good dancer, all right, you are clumsy. Okay, when you say you are clumsy, it's just like you are careless in doing things. Just like dancing, you are not a good dancer. All right. Okay, and so now let's go to number 9, which is about the grammar point that I'm going to focus in this session. So we have making suggestions. So as you can see right here, these are ways that we can use to make suggestions, just like with models, plus verb, gerunds, with negative questions, and with infinitive. Okay, so as you can see right here, the first example, maybe you could go to a chat room. What about taking a dance class? Have you thought about asking your friends to introduce you to their other friends, just like with gerund here? With negative questions, why don't you join an online dating service? And with infinitives, one option is to join a club, or it might be a good idea to check out those discussion groups at the bookstore. Okay, so as you can see right here, these are ways that you can make suggestions, all right, with all of this. So let's find out about the forms of each. Okay, so right here I begin with gerund. All right, so you can have how about, what about, have you thought about. Actually, if you take a look at our lesson, we have only what about and have you thought about. Okay, and how about is an extra one. Whether you want to have it or not is fine. Okay, because how about we also use with gerund. What about gerund, have you thought about gerund. Okay, and then question mark. So it's about making suggestion. All right, just like in this example, I like to lose some weight, and then they give you a certain kind of suggestion, like how about going on a diet, or what about going on a diet, what about, have you thought about going on a diet, things like this. So anytime you use all of this, make sure that you have to use gerund. All right, and number 2, infinitives. So we have two, it might be a good idea, and one option is, as you can see in this example with infinitive, one option is, and it might be a good idea. Okay, so after these two expressions, so we use with infinitive. Okay, it might be a good idea too, one option is too. All right, as you can see in this example, I'm so stressful, especially on weekends. One option is to join a sports club. As you can see right here, you don't have to use one option. You can use, it might be a good idea to join a sports club. Make sure that you use with infinitive whenever you see this kind of expressions. All right. Besides gerunds, infinitives, we also have models. So model plus verb base form. So there is only one case right here. Maybe you could, and then plus verb base. Okay. So let's take a look at the example right here. My boss is on my back. So maybe you could tell him about your work pressure. Okay, just like that. So maybe you could, and then you use base. All right, according to the form right here. So anytime you use a model like this, maybe you could, then you have to use base after that. Okay. And the last one is with the negative questions. Why don't you? And then verb base as well. Okay. Just like this example, my neighbors always have a party late at night, and you can say, why don't you tell him to end it earlier? All right, so why don't you? And then we have a base verb right here. Okay, so once again, in order to make suggestions, we can have this 4, but of course we can have some more, but in the lesson we only have this 4 ways. So one is with gerunds, infinitives, models, and negative questions. So make sure that you stick to the form of each in order to make suggestions. All right, and below is your practice, so that you can just check the right answer. That's it, with the certain kind of situation right here. Just like the first example, I love my apartment, but the rent is too expensive. I don't want to move, but I don't know how I can keep living there. It's just like the situation right here. So one option is to move to a house. Why don't you look for a roommate? And maybe you could stop paying rent. So you need to pick up the right answer, the best answer, all right, for the situation, for the problem right here. Okay. All right, so you will have this handout to practice, don't worry. And after you finish this, you can go to the exercise, all right, 9a. Circle the correct answers, then practice with a partner. So right here, you just pick up the answer. All right, as you can see right here, we have participating, so you have to pick up this one, all right, among the two here. So when you take a look at ing, we know exactly that we can only use with what about and have you thought about, right? And if you happen to take a look at the given answers right here, we cannot why don't you, because why don't you we use with base form, right? So the answer is what about, so that you can do number 2 to number 5, right, for your practice. And if you have question, everyone, you can refer to the handout that I provide you, and or not, if you don't want, you can just leave me question in our Telegram group chat, okay, and I will answer to your questions. All right, so after you finish number 9 right here, so we can go to number 10. That is the listening, but I just want to have a little talk with this. um, you can just listen to this activity later in order to get the answer, but let's try without a listening first. So listen to people give different suggestions for each problem, put a line through the suggestion that was not given. Okay, so we don't need to care much about the answer yet, but let's focus on the meaning of the question. How to overcome shyness, how to control your shyness. So A, read a self-help book. B, join a club, not a nightclub, it's just a speaking club perhaps. C, a therapist. A therapist is like a doctor who can help you overcome your shyness. Take medication, I don't know exactly whether you can take this or not, all right? So I just want to give some ideas about the suggestion for this problem. What about number 2? How to stop biting your fingernails. So why do you bite your fingernails? So you have to understand about your own feeling. Why do you bite your own fingernails like that? Okay. So A, you have to count instead. So instead of biting your nails when you're nervous, perhaps, then you can count instead. Wear gloves, maybe. Paint your nails so that when you take a look at your fingernails, you don't want to bite because it's colorful. And the last one, figure out why you're nervous. Yeah, just find out the reason why. Okay. And number 3, how to organize your busy schedule. So A, program your phone, make a list of priorities, cancel appointments, and talk to a consultant. All right. So you can come up with your own idea, everybody, to pick up the answer, but in this activity you have to listen and find out the answer. All right. Okay, so let's go to number 11. We have a little talk about this activity, bad habits. Okay, so make 3 suggestions for how to how to break each of these bad habits, and then share your ideas with the class. Which ideas are the most creative? So these are bad habits. All right, perhaps you might have some of this, I don't know, maybe one of this. Okay, let's see the first bad habit. Buying things I don't need. Are you a kind of particular person who loves to buy things you don't need? Think about that. Okay, ask yourself. Eating junk food at night. Mm-hmm. Eating junk food, the food that is not healthy, and then you eat at night. What do you think? And last one is cracking my knuckles. So you can see right here we have a bad habit of doing this. I don't know exactly whether you love to do this or not. Okay, but I used to in when I was young, but I stopped doing this. Cracking your own knuckles. I don't know. I heard somebody said that say that we will have some kind of problems with our joint whenever we get old. All right, so please stop doing this if you have this kind of bad habit. All right. Okay, so for number 12, we are not going to focus on that, a letter of advice. So let's go to number 13, which is about the reading, and it is also the last activity. Critical thinking, everyone, is about way that you can think critically. All right, so what is it critically? Just like you do anything deeply and carefully, all right, before you do certain things. Um, so when it comes to critical thinking, or you think critically, I think you have to learn how to be patient and try to spend time, give yourself more time in order to analyze the question, so that do not do anything quickly, just like making your own decision in doing something, in learning a subject, in doing a business, so that you can just pay more attention to your decision, and think critically about that. So the idea of doing this is just to avoid any mistake that you're going to make. Okay. All right, so your job is to read this tag, everyone, the whole text right here, and once you finish this, you can go to part A, read the article, then write the number of each paragraph next to its main idea. Okay, so we have 4 paragraphs right here, so these are main ideas, so I'd like you to match, all right, the number of the paragraph right here and with the main idea. Okay, and when you finish this, you can go to B, or read about these people. Which of these characteristics of critical thinking did they need to apply? Explain yourself. So we have A, check if the evidence is true. B, recognize your prejudices. And C, be open to new ideas. Prejudices is just like bias or dislike. You dislike anything, so that is prejudices. Okay, so so you just go to the text once again, and probably you can read in order to get the ideas, and after that go to this particular statements and try to find out, try to analyze each of them. Okay, whether A, check if the evidence is true or not. Okay, recognize your prejudices, or B, C, be open to new ideas. All right, so you can just read this situation right here and try to give the answer of A, B, or C. All right, and don't worry, I will give you the answer whenever we finish this. Okay, everything, because so far I haven't given you the answer, so I will give you when we finish all the 4 units. So right now we already finished 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and now we go to 9. So this is time for me to relieve the answers, okay, so that you can just copy and compare the answer later. All right, so I think that's it for today, everyone. If you have any questions, especially about making suggestions, right here, so you can leave me question in our Telegram group chat. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Goodbye.